Salutations, this is Eric with Jitsi Fit, and this week we wanted to pivot away from some of the strength and conditioning and more up-tempo calisthenic style exercises that we've been demonstrating and show you a really cool adapted yoga stretch for the stall bar system. The stretch in particular is called the Garland Pose or Malasana, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to take that pose and we're going to transport it onto the stall bar system so that we can get a little deeper, open up the hips a little bit more, so we can get a little bit more benefit out of that stretch. Before we get into the Malasana or the Garland Pose, I think it's generally a pretty good idea because it's such a deep stretch and a good hip opener to sort of warm your hips up a little bit. And so just whatever hip opener that you like, I generally will just sort of open the hips up both sides this way and then move it around, working both sides. Now the pose itself, all we're going to do is we're going to mount the stall bar system. I just use the first rung on the bar. Get a real wide stance with your feet. Suck your hips into the stall bars themselves and then slowly drop down into this deep stretch. Now a couple of details here. You're going to want to keep your knees engaged to the bar as you're lowering yourself down, and then you'll use your arms in whatever grip variation you need to keep yourself engaged and close to the bars. And then what we'll do, when you're not doing this on video, is focus a little bit on your breathing, sink deep into the stretch itself. Focus on pushing your hips and lower back into the stall bars themselves to open up those hips. And it's really nice in this stretch because it's fairly self-evident. Once you really get deep down into the stretch itself, it's kind of, you wouldn't want to say instant relief, but you definitely can feel the need for the stretch. And so this is something that you should be doing on a weekly basis if you have tight hips, and that's not uncommon in the combat sports world or grappling to have these kind of hips. And so I generally stay here for a number of breaths, and then I try and release. So what will happen as you drop down into it is you'll feel your glutes will be fairly tight and your hip flexors will stay engaged. And so you want to stay into that stretch until that loosens up. And once you loosen all that up, you can move out of the stretch. Okay, so there you have it. That was the Garland Pose or the Malasana, and we adapted that for the stall bar system because it allows us to get a little bit deeper into that stretch so we can further open those hips. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If so, don't forget to hit the like button. If you have any questions about different stretches, this stretch, anything at all, I'd be happy to see you guys in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week.